thought article from Madagascar. Biometric ID or Mark of the Beast? The columnist is from Mauritius. Mauritius is an island nation in the Indian Ocean east of Madagascar. He says, although I'm a Catholic in formation and come from a practicing family, I'm far from being a clam frog, and especially far from practicing passive ingestion or active propaganda of doctrine. I know my Bible and use my faith as a basic rule for my daily actions, the writer says, but it also happens to me moments when the reality of the day questions concerns that involve the marriage of Cartesian ethics with the beliefs of man. So doing some research into the absurdity of biometric identity, I found clues that led me to ponder the value and weight of biometric identity in doctrine. What follows is clear. Between the lines, Christian thought would not support biometrics. He sees in it even the work of the evil one. Whatever our personal beliefs, there are prophecies that send shivers down the spine. In every pious book is announced the coming of the beast and the forced conversion of men and women into his arms. In any case, the beast is to be expected. It's even the necessary condition for the renewal of humanity. Today, the arrivals of biometrics, RFID technology, would lead us to believe that this is what is to come. But who is the beast? It's by reading certain passages from the book of Revelation that Christian doctrine offers us that certain analogies become distressingly confusing. Surprisingly, the book of Revelation, according to St. John, gives us an excellent summary of the present times. Riddle aside, these writings seem more relevant, more obvious, and of course require careful reading. Example, Revelation 13:16-18. And he caused all, small and great, rich and poor, free and bond, to receive a mark in their right hand or in their forehead, and that no one could buy or sell except he had the mark, the name of the beast, or the number of his name. 666, of course. And here is the wisdom. Let him who has understanding calculate the number of the beast, for it is a man's number, and his number is 666. Unquote. This is the beast, and in the biblical context it refers to Satan, the evil one. Strangely also, this prophecy challenges us with relevance to our time, recalling that no one without the mark will be able to buy or sell, in other words, live in this century. St. John's prophecy poses us, by extension, the famous problem of a supreme order that will impose a marking every person on earth, an almost uniform way of life, with the goal of enslaving the entire human race for the benefit of only the chosen few. But how to recognize the monster? According to the Bible and the Quran, there are signs that herald the end of time. Basically, they repeat from different angles the following conditions: deceptive religion that could be likened to money wars, resurgence of major conflicts in many parts of the world, for example, Ukraine, Palestine, famines that could be related to the exodus and movement of populations caused by wars, plague or epidemics, the rise of epidemics and the risk of pandemics, for example, H1N1, swine fever, mad cow, Ebola, COVID-19, etc. Tribulations, religious persecutions. But on closer examination, all these signs of loss in our real world seem to benefit immensely only a small group of powerful people. The very people we find, as if by choice, at the head of the WTO, the World Trade Order, one might think, whether it is monetary, military, humanitarian, health, or agricultural power, we systematically find, more or less, the same multinational corporations, followers of human overproductivity. Under these circumstances, for conspiracy theorists, there would be only one step. Imagine, for example, that the destruction of the World Trade Center, that wars and epidemics were hatched, planned and orchestrated as part of a grand plan to enslave 7 billion people by an international cult consortium. Sounds plausible, doesn't it? The beast could very well be that consortium whose ultimate goal is to make the most of what the planet can produce at the expense of its inhabitants. It would have been perceived, rightly or wrongly, by various names, NWO, Big Brother, Illuminati, including, but no smoke without fire is the order, as the other would say. In 1981, Ronald Reagan hijacked an identity project while mentioned in the trademark of the beast. At the time, biometrics and RFID technologies were not well established, but already the fact of identifying a person by a random number was similar to the words of St. John. But then came the popularization of a French invention, the smart card, and with it the complete digital recording of personal data. What does Mark of the Beast look like? The brand could be interpreted as those ubiquitous chips in our phones, tablets, computers, or payment cards, credit or reward cards that would allow our transactions to be tracked in real time, but this was still just starters, prep, setup, life-size tests. The bulk of the piece remained a priori, how to identify each of the subjects who would use a system to better enslave them. All that was left was to put a distinctive mark on each of us, a set of marks that would be unique to every living thing on the planet, animals included, some humans for short. To answer this problem, there was nothing better than biometrics to create for each of the living beings on Earth a unique, distinct, and readable mark, a mix of symbols, a number, binary, hexadecimal, whatever, placed not like a number tattooed on the hands of Auschwitz deportees, but on a permanent worn plastic card that would serve as proof of the white leg. We had been warned, though. The precepts of all religions together have always warned about the intelligence and ingenuity of evil, his ability to deceive people, his ability to take the most seductive forms, to exploit the materialism that characterizes him. In the same vein, biometrics seem to have become the marketing argument of choice for our beast, and this to allow our acceptance without resistance of the insidious marking that the New World Order would impose on us pending its final and complete implementation. Wasn't it sold to us here in Mauritius, he says, as a modern tool to effectively combat identity fraud and as a secure door mandatory to access social benefits? Isn't that how we were offered the biometric card, exploiting first of all the weakest minds, young and old, to form the critical mass that would make the most resilient band? In other countries, taking advantage of the high degree of subtlety in instilling distrust in others, biometrics are presented as a formidable weapon against terrorism, kidnapping, illegal immigration, illegal work, and other fraud of all kinds. Therefore, biometrics would also obviously be a definite advantage in terms of social services, especially in terms of health. But we have we considered for a moment what would happen if the beast knew the weakness of every earthling? I'll tell you the truth. Caution, whether it comes from the Ramgoolan government or the WTO or NWO, the plan for a biometric identity is an aberration, an abomination, worthy of a demonic spirit that aims solely to record human beings by assigning them to each and every number, which makes every man and every woman the property, the instrument of the beast, whatever that is. By forcing me to submit on pain of prison to the biometric ID requirement, I believe our government is flouting my constitutional rights. Not only does it violate the sanctity of my personal data by taking it without my consent, but it also forces me to defy the tenets of my religion, inadmissible. I choose to resist and fight to maintain the part of the free man necessary to live as a true son of the earth. If St. John writes that those who do not bend to the will of the beast will be killed by it, he will later remind us that with any abandonment to evil there is ultimate punishment. If anyone worships the beast and his image and receives a mark on his forehead or his hand, he will also drink of the wine of God's wrath, poured out unmixed into the cup of his wrath. Revelation 14:10 says, no matter the final choice, the man will die. So it's up to him, to us, to you, to choose which camp you are on, Satan or God. And this was from Les Mauriciens. I've translated this for you from a Greek article. Please leave your comments, and thank you for your support. Please support my Patreon account. The daily posts are 5 videos daily, and they are totally different from what I have on my YouTube channel. Thank you so much for your support and that you find all my content so interesting. You'll find the Patreon account details in the description box below.